He doesn't know his line. We're dead.
That was actually pretty
nice.
That was good, Will. That was good. That's the way we're going to start this one. We are here in the bowl. You can see we're not in the lanai. We're mixing things up because Brandon and Will were going to the skate park and we figured we would come and hang out with them. So we're going to do the tabletop video finally. And I put so much work into this one. It's insane. Like I am borderline sick of looking at tabletops. I never thought I'd say that because it's one of my favorite tricks ever in BMX.
You fried yourself of the video that we had planned?
Yeah, because
you're so excited, now you're over
and
it.
we kept on pushing it off because like you went away and then Dad was here, so we ended up doing that video with him.
You're right.
So there's just been a lot, and this video's been getting ready to go for a while. I'm excited to finally do it. And you guys went off in the comments again. There was so many comments, I don't remember the exact number, but I ended up having like something around like well, it's definitely over 30. I don't remember the exact number, but over 30 names for tabletops of people that put in here of the tabletops they think are the best ones in BMX,
wow.
which is pretty cool. So what I ended up doing was I went through every single one of them and I grabbed footage that I could find from each rider that they said, and then I ended up tallying them up, and then we were going to unveil the best tabletop in BMX.
Wait, so we're going to see every rider that they said?
We're going to see every rider pretty much that they said, and they're doing a tabletop.
Okay, that's a lot of tabletops.
Yeah, and there's so much that I learned and saw from this thing, which I'm super excited about. But as we work our way, once we get to like the top 10, that's when I started tallying up the amount of names and then putting them in order.
Those are like, they've gotten multiple,
there were so many.
like
So,
okay.
But let's start off by saying that there's a difference between a tabletop and an invert.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And I'm going to show you the difference right now, and I'm going to actually use 2 clips from my riding. So you can see right here, this is a tabletop from my Fox video I did at the Incline Club. But watch how I snap the bike, my knees are folded, I'm tucked in there, but the bike is flat pretty much.
Very proper tabletop.
It is, but here's the invert. You can see this time I am just pushing the bike straight up. Like literally it's in the name. It's inverted, straight up.
I would say the biggest change is the handlebars. So a tabletop, you kind of are pulling your wrist down, which is turning the front wheel.
That's one of the biggest
Invert
changes.
you're pushing it across, and it keeps the bike in line.
Well, yes, that's the thing. So an invert, like pretty much, especially on a quarter pipe, it's like you let the bike just keep continuing off of the ramp.
And then you fold.
You know what I mean? And then you fold almost around the bike.
Yep.
And then the tabletop, you kind of flatten out and then snap into it. So that's what I would say would be the main difference. So a lot of the names that are on here, like you can argue, be like, oh, that guy does an invert, that guy does tabletop. But it's cut from the same cloth right there.
Yeah.
So I decided to just keep them both in there and we'll just keep on watching. So we're going to start this one from the beginning. This is the earliest tabletop I found, and this is a pretty iconic photo. This is Dave Vanderspeck, and this is in 1983, and this is a bunny hop tabletop, and it's just so cool. Like, how crazy is this?
It's like the different way than you would normally.
His feet are switched. So
that's what I'm saying. It's not the traditional way.
Yeah, he's a goofy-footed tabletop guy, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. But you can see that it's almost like a kick out too. He's looking at it like, just look at the height on that right there.
He would win
that's
any
nuts.
bunny hop contest with
if he did that move.
If he did
yes,
that, you're clearing any height. Brock Reifert doesn't stand a chance to this dude.
Pretty
That's
amazing.
crazy.
Yeah, so I always would see that photo, and to be honest with you, I never knew who it was. And then just from this research of this video, I got to figure out who it is. So wow, that's insane. And I don't have the time frames exactly, but from what I read, it was 1983. So we'll keep on going though. We're gonna start all the way back in the beginning of freestyle BMX, and now we're gonna move to Eddie Fiola. And Eddie Fiola had some sick tabletops. Here's some one-footed variations. There's a magazine cover that's inside one of the bowls. But look, there's a regular tabletop right there. So that's pointed the other direction.
Anyway. Oh, that one's good.
Yeah, that's
right
nice
there.
too.
That's that's what you picture.
Yeah,
right there.
so really, really cool. You know, Eddie Fiola, amazing rider. And real quick, before we go any further, our friend Fish he's just getting into town, and we're going to be doing an 80s video talking about like the most influential and like his favorite riders from the 80s. So all of you old school guys, get ready for that one. And Eddie Fiola is on the list. So I just want to make that clear.
Spoiler.
We've been wanting to do an 80s video, but it's just I was waiting for the time to be right, and it's no better time. So we'll get into that. But let's keep on going. And then here's one right here that was on the list. This is Hollywood Mike Miranda. And now his tabletop is sick. It's not a traditional tabletop. It is an X-up kind of tabletop. Like, it is so cool looking.
He did it and then pushes that little extra to pull it
Isn't
up.
that nuts? Like, he like,
Huh.
I thought that was so cool, and
Have you ever
that
seen
made it on the
anyone
list.
like in a modern rider?
The only rider that I've seen that I can remember that does something similar is also on this list that we're gonna get to is Tim Fuzzy Hall. He does stuff that would be similar to that.
right.
So,
Okay.
but yeah, Hollywood Mike Miranda's got a very interesting tabletop. So the next one is Tim Judge. Wow.
Wow. Yeah, that's it.
So his is nice and flat, but he like kicks the bike out super
The leg
far.
extension is also what
Yeah.
makes it though. That is just
How cool is that?
like the whole thing is flat. It looks like
Yeah.
a split.
It's old school. It's so aggressive. I love it, man. So super happy that I was able to find Tim Judge photos and be able to put it in here. So now we're going to transition to a little bit later into the sport. This is going to be kind of like a 90s dirt. That's what I'm going
So we're
for.
going 80s to 90s now.
Kind of, yeah, because I'm going to jump around a little bit. I was trying to make this list and try to incorporate all this thing about taking 30 riders from 30 different styles and try and make a video make sense. So I'm going to jump around a little bit, but it is what it is. There's no order for a while here, but I know that there's a lot of dirt stuff coming up, so we'll just try to watch it right now. So this is a really cool little shot that was in Expendables 3 where like they show it from above. But there's Corey Anastasio. This stuff is from the Road Fools in Fuzzy's backyard. I found a bunch of cool tabletops. Here's Robbie Morales.
I knew it. I knew it. I was like, that's one
he's
person
got a
that's going
good
to pop
one.
up any
It's just
second.
nice and flat. It's
Yeah.
it's just very textbook. It looks great, man. So I love that shot over that hip right there. Now here's TJ Lavin. So he's got a very interesting tabletop.
It's like an invert.
Exactly. So his
Yeah,
are
yeah.
they're like very like kind of like unturned down, but there's
That's
a
tabletop
traditional
for sure,
Yeah.
yeah.
So he goes back and forth. Now these are Stephen Murray, who I think has one of the nicest tabletops. Look at how he just pop. Just
It's just a
snaps
proper
right into it.
tabletop, yeah.
It is so nice. And I believe that's Stephen Murray as well. I don't have verification, but it looks like it. There's Corey Bowen, one-handed tabletop into a 360 one-handed table. There's Mike Escamilla, also known as Rooftop. He's got a very classic tabletop, and yeah, he just snaps into it really quick.
Whoa.
Now here's one that made the list, Jason Enns, but his tabletop's more of like an invert
He
style.
like manipulates the bike a lot more.
Look at that. See, he lays that thing nice and flat. And Josh Stricker, he's always had one of the best tabletops. I love this one. Boom! Into that gap. That was cool.
God, that's crazy.
Yeah, so he does a lot of just high speed, really aggressive ones. I really love this. Look at this wall ride. Bam!
Wow, that's
Snaps
perfect.
into it. Yeah, that's a really good looking tabletop right there. So yeah, we got another one from Josh Stricker. I got this stuff from the Little Double videos. Now this one wasn't on the list, and I threw it on here because it was too good. I saw it. I was like, dude, I remember watching the videos and be like, wow,
That's
I
a
wish
fold
I
and
could
hold.
snap into that. Yeah, so Nate Hansen's got a
He
really
like hangs
sick one.
on to it.
Yes.
He doesn't just tweak it and let
Exactly.
go. He's able to tweak it and then give it that extra.
But he's like really big and his bike was
death
small,
grip on
so
it.
the way it would snap in was
Yeah.
really aggressive. So now we're going to be moving on to another name that made it on the list multiple times, and I ended up putting so many tabletops of this rider right here because I couldn't stop. I got into it and I was like, wow, that was good, that was good, that was good. And this is Ruben Alcantara. So look at all of these tabletops, and there's so many different style tabletops.
Whoa, Ruben to table?
One-handed table to manual. Look at that, like almost like a backlash. Nice one over the
Wow.
hip, very classic.
180 Smith.
Yeah, that one was good. High speed across that gap. Yeah, there's too many good ones. No footer to table out of a wall ride. This one's just so iconic. I love it. Oh, over that fence wall ride.
Yeah, that's
Insane.
crazy.
Yeah, that was really, really good. And this one, I love this one because he delays it and then holds it. Boom.
Oh,
As a
wow.
kid watching that, I was like, I want to learn how to do that so bad. We went to the spot that was in
Ooh.
Mulligan,
Oh,
remember?
yeah,
I love this one too. Over a bank to bank, nice little 360 invert table. Look at that, and he does the tabletop out of
What?
it. That was super cool. I couldn't stop. There was just too many good ones. And it's just so diverse. He has so many different versions of it. So yeah, shout out to Ruben for being an innovator in BMX. So now we're moving on to another name that was on the list. This is Albert Mercado. And Albert has a really nice, he does like low tabletops, but he snaps in so aggressively and it looks so good. So this was in how to do the inverts. So I guess technically they call them inverts, but look at how nice it is. He just folds
That's
into
perfect,
it.
yeah.
He does it so good
'Cause
job.
how far he could push the handlebars,
Yep.
what changes it.
Yeah,
you
he
know?
pushes the handlebars really far and he folds his knees really nice, and it's just a really good looking setup right there. So now this one made it on the list as well. This is a friend of mine from years back, Ben Hiddle, has such a beautiful tabletop / invert, and he does it on street as well. So I put this one off of a curb.
How did that snap
And
like
it is
that?
a
That's
lazy flat.
crazy.
I love this one. Curve wall ride and then pop one out. Oh, his are picture perfect. Let's watch that again. Beautiful. Yeah, so I'm glad that his name made it on the list. Here's Tom Dugan, who's got his own style. So he does, you know, super high style stuff. You know, everything he does is super fast, but you can see he's got all the time in the world to fold them in there. So now this is a friend of ours, Dan Foley, who he can ride pretty much everything, but I love his tables. They are so textbook and they look so good. Look at that 360 flat table and just folds it and holds it. Love it. Now here's Brett Silva, who is a new school, you know, kind of like street rider, and the way he brings his tables and inverts into the sport is so cool because he doesn't.
He gives it that extra shoulder.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, that's like the Brett Silva thing. Is he gives it that extra shoulder to show the commitment. Boom, he can do that any street spot,
reaches
whatever.
For it, you're right. And he makes it look so
Wow,
good. He does them,
cool.
you know, over rails and stuff. But look at this one, the 360 down that spot. I remember watching that live. I was like, no way that just happened. Yeah, what an amazing rider. He makes BMX look real good. So now we're moving over to another rider that made it on this list. Had a bunch of people saying his name in here. And now this rider actually does tabletops both directions. He's actually naturally a goofy-footed rider. And this is Josh Dove. So here's Dovey doing a nice little tabletop going the other direction. And now I'm going to show you a bunch of different variations of him laying this bike down sideways. So you can see the one-handed ones, and that's
like
to
his
his regular
one,
side. Yeah,
whatever
he's got
that
a
is.
sick one-footed table, like invert one where.
You know what? It's almost like he goes over the handlebar like a tuck.
He reaches over the bike.
His
He
shoulder's like against
rides,
the front wheel.
Yeah, he like ghost rides the bike up and then like reaches the body over on it pretty good. So very cool. So now here's another rider that made it on the list, and now he's got more of an invert style. This is Daniel Sandoval. So this is one in his backyard. I figured we would just show this one. You can see he just pushes that bike up, and yeah, he's got a really aggressive one. Now here's another Australian rider. This is Jason Watts. He's another goofy-footed rider, but you can see that was a switch 360 tabletop, but here's back to his normal, where he does his one-footed stuff, and he has so many different variations of it too. All the one-footed tabletops look so good. I figured I would slow-mo that one because it was just perfect. And yeah, he's capable of doing them both ways. Like I said.
He switches feet and does them too. Like I feel like he could just do it any way.
Yeah, look at that big alley-oop one-footed table. Now here's another one. There's one-handed. Yeah, he's amazing how many variations he's got. Look at that, the knack-knack one-footed table one. That's pretty sick. So now we're moving on to another rider. This is another Fast and Loose
Cordova.
Matt Cordova, yeah. He's got one of the best tabletops.
He could click that thing.
Oh, I love it.
It's like that extra fold. It floats out, and then the whole thing just
his
rips.
body just folds so nice into the bike, and he does them so high and makes them look so good, and they snap so fast, and then he holds them. They're just picture perfect, man. They really are absolutely amazing. Now we're moving to Corey Walsh, who is an amazing tabletop guy, but also just an amazing rider in general. And he does them off of some crazy stuff that is really hard to ride. He manages to fold the tabletop on. Oh, that was a good one right there.
So crazy, because the way he does it, he like contorts the bike a totally different way, like a preload.
Yep, and then pushes it away.
Pushes it in.
Yep. And so it's cool how you see different people doing it. But the next rider we're going to be looking at is someone that we've seen multiple times do the biggest and highest tabletops ever. This is Larry Edgar. So this is all footage from the Vans Pro Cup. There was just so many good ones. Look at the slow-mos here.
He does that so he could go 2 feet higher.
Yeah. And then watch this slow-mo. He holds it on like the decel of this air. Watch, it's just still locked in.
He's like coming down.
He's coming down. He's still coming down. He's still coming down. I was watching the slow mo and it was giving me anxiety.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's got an amazing one. So now here's a name, Chris Stauffer. This was one that I put in the comments because as a kid, I remember looking at it and I was like, that guy's got my dream tabletop. Christopher, like just East Coast Trails guy. Look at this one. Oh, that one was so important to me growing up. I was like, that's the best looking tabletop I've ever seen.
It's interesting because a lot of people don't do them jumping across things.
Exactly.
You don't do a tabletop like pushing
Going
through.
straight and being able to snap into it
That's
the way
just
he
like
does.
so hard to maneuver like that.
Very hard. So I'm so glad I get to talk about
now.
Christopher. So now we're moving on to another one that I also put in the comments of like my 2 favorite ones. This is Justin Inman, and this is a rider from the Northwest, and he rode for Fit, and here's some examples of him doing his thing. He was a very, very tall rider, and he just snapped them in so nice. And this is very early on. Like he was, one of the riders that kind of transitioned the tabletop into the new school that it is. So very cool. Now we're moving on to a dear friend of ours, one of my favorite people in the world, not just BMX. This is Gary Young. And Gary Young has a very, very cool signature kind of table style. And his transitions off another rider that we're going to get to on the list as well. But before we unveil his name, let's talk about Gary's tabletops. And I got a few of them here. So Gary can ride everything. One-handed tabletop, one-footed tabletop, 360 tabletop. There's so many different variations of it. But he's got a very traditional style. He just really snaps in. And like for Gary, like he'll do it into random stuff because he's just got that snap so perfectly timed, and he just knows exactly how to contort the bike. What a ridiculous setup to do a tabletop on. But look at how perfect that one is. I love that one right there. Just classic right there. Just high and fast. And we're moving on to the pretty much like the top 10-ish list. I don't know the exact numbers, but it's close to there. I remember counting them all up. Me and my wife sat there. I had her, I'm like counting all the comments, and I'm like saying names, and she's just tallying them up. So, but this next rider made it on the list multiple times, and I'm glad that we get to show his riding off. I actually texted him like, dude, where can I find some tabletop footage? And he
worked hard on this though. He worked hard to learn this trick.
Yeah, it was something that didn't come natural for him. And I know a lot of you guys are watching this right now. You guys are gonna be psyched. This is Spencer Forsman. So look at these tabletop slash inverts.
He's got it perfect.
He does.
It's crazy.
And he just snaps them in there really good. It reminds me of like Albert's. But like, like see how he's doing them like over something that's like really big, so he's able to like hold it even longer. But very, very similar.
So good.
So yeah, we love Spencer. We're glad that we're able to talk to him, and I'm glad that you guys put him all in the comments. And he was amped up about it too. So shout out to Spencer. So now we're moving on to another dear friend of mine. I love this guy, Chase Hawk. This dude has such a great tabletop. I've seen him do this a million times, and I would like to watch it a million times more, man.
Oh, that's
but look at
cool.
that fast plane into it. Nice little 180 tabletop on his awesome backyard ramp. Oh, look at the textbook. He's just got such a great hold on it, and it just makes it look so good every single time. His consistency is amazing on it, man. So, and he's been doing it for years, and yeah, really happy that we're able to show off some of these tabletops. Now we're moving on to a rider that had a lot of votes, and this guy is just a classic tabletop rider. This is the Blue Falcon, Brian Foster. So Brian Foster, he is the real deal. And this one, arguably, you could say like this is like one of the most iconic tabletops in BMX for sure. Because when you think of tabletops, you're like, yep, Brian Foster, he's one of the guys for sure. And he's got a bunch of different variations.
Honestly, I like that you could get tabletops from him from every era of BMX.
Yeah, so that's the thing.
Which is crazy.
This is I got this from Schwinn's American Muscle in 1997. And then you could see, we're going to show you some more stuff.
Yeah.
So this is like a later fit video. Well, that's not, but this is a later fit video. And all these years later, you could see him. He perfected his craft.
Yeah, still cranking tabletops.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah. Well, look, see, that was kind of
like that
Mike
XL
Miranda
one.
one. And this is a cool one right here. Nice big air off of that
Dirt
one.
air.
Yeah. Cool. So really happy I got to show off Blue Falcon. I found a lot of tabletop footage of him too, and I was like, yeah, more the merrier, right? Look at this. Nice little invert style, which was that's definitely
like
different than he usually does. So now we're moving on to another classic rider, guy we mentioned earlier, Tim Fuzzy Hall. This dude has some iconic tabletops, and there's so many different ways that he does them. So look at this. Oh, that was nasty, right? He just grabbed it and then whacked into it. Yeah.
Oh man.
Isn't that sick? Oh, I love that one.
That's unique. I've never seen anything like that.
That is super unique. So, and then there's a 360 tabletop with TJ Lavin right there. Look at there's another one of kicking the bike down like that. Here's a one-footed.
So sick.
There's a switch kind of table, and then here's a regular one
with the little X.
Yeah, see, so he has so many tabletop variations. Here's another one-footed one right here. That was a cool shot from above. So yeah, really cool. Man, what an amazing rider that inspired so many people. Shout out to Tim Fuzzy Hall. Now we're moving to one of my favorite riders of all time. A guy that like just, man, I just wish that like every time you get a BMX bike, there should be like a list of names that need to be mentioned, so you know about them, and then you should learn about them. There should be a video you should have to click every time.
Like a barcode on it.
Yes.
You scan the barcode. You have to watch this.
You have to watch these riders.
An Aiken video.
Yes, because they represent BMX, and it's going to be Mike Aiken. He's actually one of our top 3 riders on the list of tabletops that you guys voted for. So yeah, this is going to be awesome.
Makes sense.
Let's get straight into it. So Mike Aiken, you know, he was a goofy-footed rider. And he did a lot of one-footed tabletop variations. Oh, that was so good. One-handed one right there, and one-footed. I love his fast plant ones.
Cool.
If you look at the slow-mo of this one, this fast plant one, look at how inverted this bike goes, dude. Like,
wow.
look
Fully
at that.
upside down.
That is nuts right there.
Yeah.
That is so crazy. And there's a regular one right there, and it's very rare. He doesn't really do a lot of regular tabletops.
Oh,
isn't that crazy? That's the Area 51 right there. And there's another regular one that he did out of the wall ride, and here's one of him doing 1 foot on the way out the other way. Here's another fast plant one.
Oh man,
it's so nice. So now we are moving on to our second voted best tabletop in BMX, and this is all voted on you guys. That's one thing I want to point out. You know, this is anybody that's watching. I see you guys go in the comments, and you guys will be like, "I can't believe he didn't make it on the list. This is unbelievable. You guys got it wrong." I'm like, "No, well, we didn't. We actually."
We didn't choose this.
You know,
actually,
that's the whole point of these videos, to get you guys involved and to have fun and kind of get your idea about it. But the truth is, what you guys voted on this, there's not many people, if any, that can argue against the top 3 here. So we're going to be moving on to Chris Doyle. Right now. Yep, Chris Doyle. He only lost by like 3-ish votes, so it was very close. Wow. I think there was it was like 40 to like 43 or something like that. So pretty impressive. So we're going to watch Chris Doyle do a bunch of tabletops right now, and it's going to be epic. So Chris has been riding for a long time, and he perfected his craft. Let me just say that. So here's some clips from Wide Awake Nightmare, one of my favorite videos. I love that video. And what's going to be so cool about this is you're going to see Chris's tabletops kind of evolve over the years into what it became towards the end of his riding career. So look at these. Now this is later on, and you're going to see him just snap into it. Oh yeah. That was good. Really, really good. Nice one over the hip. Carry. Oh, that was huge.
Wow.
Yeah, we're going to watch this one again because it's too good over the hip. Like, it's just perfect.
It's
watch.
Perfect. Boom. That's
snaps, hold it. So that's like his flirts between tabletop and invert so much. Where,
I think it depends on the situation, right? Like, that's almost what it seems like.
Yeah, it could be. But it's too good. Either way, it's flat and it's picture perfect. So now this next rider that we're going to be talking about should be no surprise to a lot of you. This rider has the most iconic tabletop photo of all time. And this was shot, I believe it was in 1993. It was shot by Brad McDonald. And like, this is the perfect photo. It's beautiful, it really is. So we're going to be talking about Slick Vic Murphy. So I got some footage, I got some photos. Let's watch it, and we're going to start off with that photo. Yeah, this photo just encapsulates just classic BMX, man. Like BMX at such a raw form, and yeah, unbelievable. So now we're going to check out some other photos, but we're also going to check out some footage of Vic Murphy doing his tabletops. I want you to look at this magazine cover, like this ride cover. Every photo cover like that he does, he's like looking at the bike. He's just got so much
Gary
attitude.
does that too.
Exactly.
So it totally makes sense. Like,
that's what I'm saying. That's where it comes from.
They both like kind of look at what they're.
Yeah, they're admiring their work for sure.
Yeah.
And I don't blame him, because it's perfect. It really is. So now we're going to watch some footage from a Dirt Brothers video that was like in like the early 90s. I got this one from Snakebite BMX. If you guys haven't checked out the YouTube channel, Shad's putting up this old school riding and keeping BMX alive, and it's amazing. But look at all of these tabletops. I love that one. That was aggressive. Now you'll recognize this footage, Matt, because when I was younger, one of the first BMX videos I got was GT's Dead Sailor. And as a kid, he used to watch dead sailor all the time. Like it was like his like daily video that he watched. But he might have been so young that he doesn't even recognize this stuff. But who knows? Maybe subliminally. Vic Murphy had a bunch of clips in Dead Sailor of him doing some really awesome tabletops. You can see out of the half pipe there. There's a one-footed one.
Oh,
there's a seat grab. Look at the fakie. Here's one over the hip. Classic Vic Murphy right there. But there's Vic Murphy doing a fast plant to one-footed tabletop. I love it, dude. What a cool trick right there. I just love watch how he snaps into it. You can see that he like pushes off and just bam, it's instantaneous. As soon as he engages to the tabletop, it all comes together. Well, I'm glad that we finally got this tabletop video done. It took long enough for me to work on this one, but it was so, I just love being able to do these videos and still have a part in BMX all these years later. You know, like I can't do tabletops anymore. Maybe one day, you know.
Yeah, we
like,
can work on it.
Maybe one day, but it's just cool that I'm still able to talk about BMX, and I'm so honored to have this platform and be part of it, and to be able to share it all with you guys is so cool to me. It's not even just sharing it with the fans, but I just want to be able to give all of the riders in the past, you know, that maybe some of you have forgotten about, that maybe you haven't thought about in a while, or that maybe some of you young riders have never heard of before. We get to shine light on BMX and the cool parts of BMX that happened, and the iconic parts of BMX that happened, and the important parts that you all should know about. And that's what's great about these videos. So I hope that you guys all enjoyed this one. And yeah, I think you guys did a really good job in the comments on the last one. But what's our next video going to be, Matt? Let's put it on the spot right now. I have one on top of my head if you don't have one.
I don't have one right now.
Okay, what I wanted to do was do the most iconic grind. Okay? The most iconic rail ever done. And I want you to be like, dude, that rail that so-and-so did in this video part was the craziest rail I have ever seen. That's what I want. I think that will be such a cool video.
Where do I even start with this?
Well, I know you're not going to start with this one at all, but I think the comments, I think you guys can do a really good job with this one, because I know how much you guys love watching video parts, and you guys video parts are so important to BMX, and they inspired so many people. So I want you to think about the craziest rail that you can remember seeing. And I'll start by putting my craziest rail that I've ever done in this one right now. My part in Sentence to Life when I was in Oregon.
Oh, I have one
It
at least.
was a really, really long rail. And like, so if you guys can put some rails in that are going to be like crazy like this rail, I think it will make for an awesome video. And yeah, I'm excited to see what you guys
I'm going in the
comments.
I'm putting mine in the comments.
Okay, can't wait to see it. So yeah, go in the comments right now. Craziest rail, let's do this one. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.